Hello and welcome to Shenmue Talk. This will be an introductory episode of what will hopefully become a series of low-budget videos where I will talk about Shenmue. In particular, I will talk about the ongoing Kickstarter campaign for Shenmue III, a much anticipated game. I will use this very first episode to go over what I consider to be the basics. We have a few questions that we're going to answer, so let's get on to it. Let me start by briefly introducing myself a bit. My name is Joel, or you may call me Joel if you prefer that and think it's easier. I've been a fan of video games my whole life, and in particular I have been writing about them for various magazines and websites for over 8 years, although it has never been a full-time profession for me. I've also been doing a few YouTube videos. As you can hear both in those videos and in this video, I'm not a native English speaker, so I hope you will be okay with that. Also, for full disclosure, I should say that the words you will hear in these Shenmue related videos will be the words of a long-time Shenmue fan. So yeah, bear that in mind whatever I say. So let's move on to the first real question, namely, what is Shenmue? So Shenmue is about a 15-year-old video game. It was originally released on the Dreamcast. It also had a sequel that was released a few years afterwards, also on Dreamcast and later to the original Xbox. In the game we follow Ryo Hazuki as he seeks revenge for his father's death that occurs in the beginning. And this takes Ryo on a journey where he must follow various leads. He gets to meet a lot of new friends and really great martial artists that help him improve his own skills. And the first game is also set in Japan, in Yokosuka. It's known for being meticulously detailed in many ways. You have to, for example, perform mundane work to earn money. You need to practice in order to level up your moves. You have a day and night cycle and very accurate weather. And the creator of the game is Yu Suzuki, so known almost to be the father of arcade games. And the game is also known for being very expensive. It was a long time in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most expensive game ever created. The sequel, Shenmue II, ups the pace a little bit, and it sees Ryo arriving in Hong Kong, where you have to explore a much larger map, although it's being perhaps a little bit less detailed. It is also, I would say, somewhat more poetic. For example, it ends it's quite slow-paced in a beautiful area of China called Guilin, and it ends particularly on a quite substantial cliffhanger. I hope to use some future video to go into more detail about these old games, but for now let's move on to the next question. What is Kickstarter? Well, simply said, it's a website for crowdfunding where people may give money to hopefully realize someone else's more or less great idea. In reality, it's really more like a pre-order system where you get typically a discount compared with the final price of the product, or that you are offered some limited quantity items. And typically they set a goal that they want to reach a certain amount of money. When it goes above that, it's also common to have so-called stretch goals, which may further improve the product in question. So in terms of video games, well, the industry has really in later years turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that has caused the big developers to be more risk-adverse, which has led to certain genres actually almost being killed. So the consequence has been that many successful games in later years in these genres have instead been realized through some sort of crowdfunding, for example Kickstarter. So what one must absolutely be aware of is that there are also several examples of failed projects on Kickstarter. Typically one should expect delays, meaning that they usually project a date when you will receive the product when you have donated, but you should add several months onto that date, at least typically. There's also been examples where the people who have received funding through Kickstarter have failed to deliver the final product, or in worst case there are examples of even all-out scams. So in conclusion, very risk-averse people might completely want to avoid Kickstarter, or at least be prepared that you might end up with getting almost nothing for the money. Moving on to the final topic of the day, what is Shenmue III? Well, it's the anticipated sequel to Shenmue II, naturally, only 14 years too late. It was announced a week ago by Yu Suzuki himself at the Sony E3 press conference. It took only about 9 hours for it to reach its initial funding goal of $2 million. But Yu Suzuki has already revealed that $5 million will allow him to improve the game very much, and all the way up to $10 million will fully realize his vision, is his claim. I hope to discuss this a bit later. It's very unlikely probably to reach $10 million, but still, this is what he has said. You can of course check out the Kickstarter now if you wish. You absolutely do not have to pledge just to view projects on Kickstarters. I myself is of course very excited already about this project. I've already pledged almost to my limit, and what I hope to achieve with these videos in addition to that is to perhaps make someone who is unfamiliar with all of this stuff interested in checking it out. However, I will of course not encourage pledging unless you are fully aware of what to expect and fully understand the risks involved that I discussed earlier. I will keep sharing my thoughts about the whole thing, however, in subsequent videos as the campaign goes on. So I hope you stay tuned for more videos. If you liked what you've seen, you may like or share or subscribe to the channel in order for perhaps more people to stumble upon this material. Furthermore, I've also put up a sparse website at shenmuetalk.wordpress.com. You may check it out if you wish. There is, for example, a timeline of the Kickstarter and some useful links if you want to read more stuff about the Shenmue III Kickstarter campaign. I hope to expand the site a little bit during these coming weeks. So, all in all, it is quite exciting times, and I hope that you will be back for the first real episode of Shenmue Talk later. So, bye for now.